Okay, it's the end of the session. This is Charlie's Roadmap to Success, and Charlie just came over here. I would normally have the dog in the shop, but although Charlie's over here, yes, you're doing a really good job. She's a little one, so you're not going to see her in the shot. All right, and you can see me. My head's not cut off in this one. I can figure out that camera angle a little bit at this point. All right, so this is the roadmap to success. I'm going to summarize what we covered. Now, I have videos of all these individual things. So I'm not going to go through each individual thing. Otherwise, this video becomes about 20 or 30 minutes long. So I'm just going to say the topics. I have videos for all these individual things. So if you want them, let me know. I either will have them written up on the webpage that is hosting this video, or I can send them to you directly. First thing we did was we went over a marker word. We loaded the word. Before, let me see, it's Sunday. So I'd like you guys to walk around, and you want to do this about 6 times. So you have a nice place, you've got a lot of space. So what I'd like you to do is have a treat, say good, and then walk around. Now, I know you guys have already used it, but it's been a while since you've used a marker word. So loading it just basically builds value. So now she hears good, she's going to start looking for that word. So I'd have you do it and walk around the whole place the next time you do it. So do it about 2 or 3 times a day for the next two days. You've already done it, so she probably doesn't need a lot of it, but just a refresher. So the marker, good, is basically our way of telling Charlie that she did something we liked. Okay, I'll put it down the floor. I'd like you to celebrate. So celebrating is rewarding the dog when it offers behaviors that you didn't ask for. Now, if you ask for a behavior she does, absolutely mark and reward that as well. But the more that you reward her for coming to you, sitting, dropping things, going to the dog bed, going potty outside, the more that you do that, the more she's likely to continue doing those things again. And so we want to get to the point where she knows what it is that she can do to contribute to your group, sitting, coming, laying, going to the dog bed. Now, one of the exercises I'd like you to do is she has a little bit of interest in toys, but a very limited interest in toys. When we have little dogs like Charlie, we can take things from them, and sometimes we get them, that's really good bravery right there, she just walked by me. She's not keeping her distance. But a lot of times we end up kind of, I don't know, think of something else. We handicap our dogs by doing everything for them. For Charlie, getting back to what I was talking about before, is when she has something in her object, her guardians sometimes take that away from her. I'd like her to develop a drop. So when she has an object in her mouth, quietly pull out a treat and hold it here to her lips and don't say anything. When she drops it, say good and put the treat in her mouth and don't pick it up. Keep on doing that when she has a new thing. So every time she grabs a new thing, kind of have some treats ready to go. And not crinkling the bag. So if I crinkle the bag, that stops. It's treat time. And so you want to keep on doing that till eventually when you go like this, she drops it right away. Then you would say, drop, present, she drops it, good, and then you put it in her mouth and don't pick it up. On those few times you do have to take the thing away, get yourself some little bully bites, some collagen sticks, a chicken head, something that's small, a small greenie. So if you do take something away, you leave something of equal or greater value. And this way it's probably going to be a little bit lesser value, but that's okay. So we want her to get to the point where she will just, when eventually you say drop, she spits it out instead of us taking things from her. Now, we also went over, let me back up a little bit. Charlie had a bad experience when she was a little puppy. Then she got hit by a car, they think. We're not sure exactly what happened, but it shattered her pelvis. She had some surgery. She had a lot of stuff. And so that's most likely contributed to why she's so fearful. And her guardians are doing what a lot of people do is they love her so much, they're trying to just do everything to help her. But I think they might be doing a little bit more than we actually need. And sometimes that can handicap the dog because the dog's used to us doing everything for them. So what I would recommend that you do is if Charlie can do it, let Charlie do it. If you have to lift her up on the couch, that's fine, but she can walk to the couch. The stairs. Like I said, you might want to look at talking to a carpenter or somebody and getting a little mini staircase. So it's basically a half stair just along the railing of all the steps. So it's half steps for her. They're already too big for her because her legs are so short, but because of her back leg issues, that might make things a lot easier for her. You might also put some grip on that so she feels a little bit more secure. She's standing in the middle of the room now. She's doing okay, but I would try to get like some floor mats that you can put in different places. So she has different places she can stand on. It has little, if you notice after 2 months, she doesn't use them, you can roll them up. But I just think, especially with her hip issue, just giving her those options would be helpful. She didn't, she's walking very close. She's not touching me. But she's making a lot more progress because before she didn't want to have anything to do with me. Now remember, although you guys live in a wonderful part of town where you have a lot of cool stuff too, if we have her in the carrier or carrying her, she does not have any choice. And so watch for those cutoff signals. That's something else we went over. I'm going to include a video of Susan Garrett's, good. I'm going to include a video or a link to Susan Garrett's body language video. Watch that because it talks about cutoff signals as well as calming signals, things along those lines. But if the more that you learn to read her body language, the better. I have a video on cutoff signals. If I don't have it linked above, let me know, and I'm happy to share that with you as well. But remember, if she turns her head away, ducks her head, looks away, or braces her eyes, she's saying, I don't like that thing, make sure that thing does not continue. If somebody wants to pet her and she's turning her head to the side and not looking at them, step in front, pick her up and walk away. Do whatever you have to so that she says, I don't have to worry about it. My humans are going to take care of business for me. Right now, she's scratching herself. That's a good indication of a dog is comfortable. If I'm about to get mugged, I don't care what my hair looks like. I don't have itches. So if she's itching herself or grooming herself, that's a pretty clear indication she's comfortable. I also like to point out to my clients that I think that the number of moves a dog has to make before they can start running also equates to how comfortable they are. If the dog is standing, they go straight into a run. That's 1 move. If they're sitting, that's 2 moves. Laying down, or 3 moves, and so on. So if you ask a dog to sit and they won't sit, and there's a situation, something around that they may not feel comfortable with, don't ask them to sit multiple times. Move them a little bit further away and ask for it again. My 2 tests, can the dog get the dog to take a treat? Can I get the dog to sit? If they can't do either one of those, then I move them 5 feet away and repeat, but I only ask for it each one time. And then I move 5 feet away, 5 feet away, 5 feet away until finally she'll take the treat or sit down. Okay, a nice sunset on your phone. All right, we also went over feeding out of a snuffle mat, getting an Omega Paw Tricky Trainer treat ball. We also went over the box enrichment game. So when you're doing the box enrichment game, this one I will describe in this one because I don't have a video for this. You want the walls of the box to be about half the height of the dog's leg. If you do too much taller than that, some dogs have problems with it. Also, if her tag is dangling and hitting it, you might take her collar off like we did today. So the first thing I do is I just toss the treat in the dog bed. She can hear that. She runs over, or in the dog bed, in the box. Most dogs do not like sticking their heads in boxes. So the first stage is just toss the treat in there until she goes and gets it without any hesitation and lingers. The next step would be to get some doggy confetti, which I don't want to pick up because I might crumbs all over the place. But basically a piece of paper or paper towel where I take a piece of kibble or a treat, put it on there, crumple it up a little bit, put another kibble on it, crumple it up more and more. So I have a wad of paper with like 5 to 8 pieces of treat or kibble in it. And then I put it in that box with some pieces of paper that are maybe about 1 inch tall by like 3 inches wide. And I fluff and I crumple a couple of them, put those in there. I also put in there about 10 pieces of kibble or treats. And then I put a couple of those wads. Now she's got to root around in there to find those pieces of kibble. She's using her nose, which drains a lot of energy. She's finding treats, which boosts her self-esteem. And then she finds the wad and she takes it away and unwraps it and learns how to problem solve. Again, another confidence building activity. Eventually you can get paper towel tubes for your toilet paper or your paper towel tubes and do the wads inside of there. Now she's getting the piece treat out of there. There we go. And you could stuff those in the paper towel tube and then put a piece of kibble and grab another wad, put that in there. So you have a paper towel tube with maybe 3 or 4 pieces of those wads. Each one has a bunch of treats. This is enrichment. This gives her something to do. You might want to go to Facebook, DIY Dog Enrichment. You can Google that as well. There's probably YouTube videos on it. There's a whole lot of free enrichment items that you can get for dogs that will help her keep her occupied and give her something to do. Let me see. What else did we went over? We went over Cookie in the Corner. That's introduction to scent games. That's when I threw the treat. If you don't remember that one, let me know and I'm happy to share that video with you. On walks, I'd like you to, when there's a grassy area and there's nobody around, nothing scary, do the find it. Say find it. Remember the cue always comes first. Then I toss the treat. When she licks it up, I say good. When she looks at me, I do it again. So every block, if you can, find a little area where you do that. We want to promote sniffing. That's a normal dog behavior. And if she wants to stop and sniff, stop and let her sniff unless it's not safe to do so, or something's going to approach that's going to scare her. In those cases, you can pull her away. The rest of the time, let her sniff as much as possible. But if you really want to give her a great experience and style her, put her in the car and drive her to a park or something like that so that she has a big open space. That reminds me, did you guys say that she doesn't like the car?
Not a huge fan.
Okay. So a lot of dogs get motion sickness. First time I was in the ocean, I recognized, oh, that's not a lot of fun. So what I would do, does she get into the car on her own? Will she...
Well, it's too tall. She can't jump.
But will she walk towards the car? or does she shut down?
We have a bag for her, so we put her in the bag in the house and then carry her.
So again, I would
yeah,
prefer
we
to
carry
have her walk to the car. And the reason for that is I want to recognize signs of consent or cutoff signals. So if you're walking the car and she sees the car and she stops, she's saying that I don't. That's the thing is scary and I don't want to go forward. We can pick her up and put her in there, but that's actually going to probably make her problem worse. So what I'd rather do is kind of similar to what we did in the video above with the vacuum. Now, for that one, I do it a little bit differently. Let's say this is the car, my hand is the car, and I am Charlie. So every time that Charlie looks at the car, I say yes, and then she turns and gets a treat. I look at the car, yes, I get a treat. Look at the car, yes, I get a treat. I look this way, nothing happens because I'm not looking at the car. Eventually, you get to the point where Charlie will look at the car and then look at you. Look at the car, look at you. And now be careful because some dogs will be like, they'll do this. They'll like, they're not really looking. They're just kind of darting in that direction. No, I want a real look, Charlie. She looks, yes, and then or good, and then the treat comes. So all we're doing is helping her look at the side of the car. The next thing I would do is leave a treat trail for me up to the car door with the car door closed. And then she gets the treats and goes all the way up there. And if she stops 3 feet away, we know how close she gets. Now, usually as I do this, I put more treats, kind of a triangle, like a bowling pin. 1 pin or 1 treat, then 2, then 3, then 4. So the closer she gets to the scarier thing, the bigger the amount of the reward is. So we want to basically, the next stage is just getting her to walking all the way up to the car. We're not going in it. We're not opening the door. We're not starting it. She's just walking towards it. Also be aware of what's going on. Don't do it when there's weed eaters going on, helicopters, surfers, skateboarders, whatever it is. So eventually she walks all the way up to the car without any hesitation. Then I would repeat the whole process, but I do it with the car door open. Now she's approaching and she's that car door. That might be hard for her. We repeat the process, always going at her pace. Remember, if she doesn't want to go a certain distance, that's fine. And if she goes like only 2 paces away from the car today and tomorrow she won't get within 10 feet of the car, that's fine too. It's not a linear process. There's going to be ups and downs. And eventually you want to get to the point where you can open the door and she goes all the way to the car door and then pick her up, put her in the car, give her a treat, pick her up, put her back down. Does she move away? If she moves away, she's like, oh my God, I didn't want to be there. If she stays right there, pick her up, put her in the car, give her a treat, then pick her up, put her down. So every time you get in the car, you get a treat afterwards. And after a while, she's interested in getting in the car because I get treats, but we're not culminating it by driving the car anywhere. Eventually, I would get in the car and maybe have you in the car. And so you get in, you pick her up, put her in the car, you close the car door, you give her a treat. Then you open the car door, take her out, she doesn't get a treat. So now we're getting her used to the door closing. And eventually you're in the back seat, you pick her up, put her in there, and you close the door. You don't give her a treat for getting in there. You close the door, you go around again the driver's side, and then you just come in, and you might even close the door. And she gets a treat, and then you get out and walk all the way around. So eventually you get to the point where you get in the car, and she's in the back seat, she's comfortable, you get in the car and you close the door. And you say, hey honey, how's it going? Charlie, good to see you. And then we get out of the car. And we just go in the car now, you guys talk a little bit, and I get a treat. And again, you talk a little bit, give her a treat, and then you exit the car. And eventually you get in the car and you start the car up, but you don't go anywhere. Start the car up and give her a treat or let her lick a spoon. And then turn the car off without going anywhere. Now, the other problem is we're in California, and California drivers are not slow. So a lot of times we make that food or the motion sickness worse because we're launching them forward and back. And so what I usually do when I want dogs to get comfortable in the car is I try to drive, I used to say like a little old lady until I had a nice older woman that says, don't call them little old ladies. So just drive like very gently. So you let your car idle. Now it's hard to do around here, but if you find a day of the week or a time of the day where there's not a lot of people in, we want to get used to the motion, but very gradual motion. So if you're going to brake, start braking so far you can't even feel the brakes. When you turn right or left, same way. Accelerating, same way. So after a while, you can go out and drive a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And after a while, the car is this fun thing that the dog actually likes doing. But the most important thing with this, with the vacuum cleaner, with anything that we've gone over today, is going at Charlie's speed. If Charlie gives us cutoff signals, turning her head away, refusing to come, baring her teeth is a pretty obvious one, we're going to stop and recognize we're pushing a little bit too far. We want to go slow and short. When training sessions, keep them 1 or 2 minutes at max. And for these lessons that I went over with you guys, I'd like you to practice them 3 times a day. Practice for 1 minute breakfast time, 1 minute midday, 1 minute in the evening. If you practice more than that, that's great. But 1 minute practice sessions more frequently is much more powerful, substantially more powerful than trying to do one where we pack a whole bunch into it. And always end on a successful note so that Charlie remembers last time we did that activity, it was a good thing. Let me see, what else do we, I'd recommend getting a snuffle mat. Get the one that's the Rundick, Rundick or DIK. Now the one that'll have a golden retriever and it's kind of rectangular. look for the other one that they have that's smaller. That'll be more appropriate for her size. Get her a lick mat. Every time a guest comes over, put the lick mat over somewhere away from the guest and away from the walkway. Licking releases the feel-good endorphin. Same thing as chewing. So after a while, Charlie like, well, I like it when people come over because I get to lick this thing and the people ignore me. For people, take note of whatever time in the video it is right now. Tell them, hey, can you watch this video? Send them a link to this page. And start it at like 8 minutes, 20 seconds, however much time is on there. How much time is on there right now? 15. Oh, Jesus, I go way too long. And so basically they can watch this. So when you're a guest who comes over, you should ignore Charlie. Don't try to pet Charlie. Don't look at Charlie. Ignore Charlie like Charlie's not even there. If Charlie comes up to sniff you, don't move. Freeze and don't try to pet Charlie. It takes Charlie a lot of confidence to come up and meet you. As soon as Charlie sniffs and walks away, then you can just wait for Charlie to do it again. You might have a treat out and you could toss a treat. But when I toss a treat, I usually try to toss them behind Charlie like I was showing you guys on the floor here. So when Charlie looks at you as a guest, you say good, and you throw a treat right behind Charlie on her right or left side. When she goes and gets it, when she looks back, you say good, and then you throw the treat over here. Oops. And so what we're trying to do, besides knocking over the Christmas tree, is move the treats behind her, which allows Charlie to have more space, and it's going to allow her to relax. But you're the giver of treats, so when she turns around, she's probably going to start coming closer to you and closer to you and closer to you. As a guest, I would love to have her come towards you and sniff you at least 3 different times before you make any movements about trying to pet her. And you shouldn't try to pet her. The first couple things you should do is offer her a treat, but don't offer it this way. Offer it this way. Front-facing approach is confrontational, sideways is approachable. And if she won't take it, just drop it on the floor. If she just skates the treat and runs away from you, that's progress too. The best thing for you to do would be come by here, spend 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then leave. And so Charlie just gets used to you. You came by, you didn't try to pet, you threw the treats behind me, maybe gave me a couple treats, and then you left. Nothing bad happened. And then next time I come, maybe we're doing a little bit of, maybe I'm tossing the treats in here. Or you're giving Charlie them treats to hand to Charlie or whatever it is. We want to go at Charlie's pace and have her gradually feel more comfortable. Recognize that men are probably going to be harder than women. If you're out and about and kids want to meet her, tell them to line up. Form a line. So, can I meet your dog is so cute. Can I pet her? Well, we always like to see if she'll take a treat from somebody before they even try doing that. Would you be okay trying to give her a treat without trying to pet her first? I know it seems like a lot to say. And somebody's like, oh, your dog's got a lot of rules and walks off. That's somebody you don't want petting your dog anyways. It's not your responsibility for other people to pet her. Find people that you know, people that are kind and that are patient and tolerant. Your friends. If you go to restaurants or places around here, there's a nice waitress. Maybe you can have her do that. But remember, if she's in that carrier, if she turns away, that's all she can do to say no. So we want to make sure that we're being cautious about that so that we don't flood her accidentally. Look at her. She is such a cutie. Her tail's going. She's like, I see my daddy. Daddy's giving me some good looks. I want that. So yeah, learn to read her body language so that you can tell when she's comfortable and when she's not comfortable, when she's giving cutoff signals, when she gives affirmation signals. Remember, affirmation signals are leaning into you, pressure against you, licking you, nose going up in the air, or putting their paw on top of you when you're petting them. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Anything else you want me to cover?
Everything I remembered so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's probably stuff that we forgot that you're going to remember vaguely. Text me. If I don't hear from you, I assume that everything's going great. I have 4,000 clients. I can't follow up with them all the time. I want you to call. I will be mad at you if you do not call or text me because I cannot help you. If there's something going on, take a video and film it and send me that video. The exercise pen is what I like you to order on Amazon. Get one about 24 inches tall, and there are about 8 panels. Keep it right outside your door. Every time you come home, set that up outside your door, open the door, invite Charlie out. Don't go inside. Wait for Charlie to come outside. Charlie's an excited and submissive urinator. So when Charlie comes outside, you already have a treat they grabbed out of your car, and you just wait. So Charlie comes out to you. Don't pet and engage in Charlie. I know this is going to be really hard for Charlie's mom, but when you don't have a dog that has separation anxiety, you're not supposed to say anything when the dog comes, when you come or go. Make those non-events. So when you leave, you just walk out the door. You don't say a word. When you come in, Charlie's excited. You don't wait. Don't say anything until Charlie calms down a little bit. But since Charlie's an excited urinator, she's giving me a little side eye from behind the camera right now. But if since she's an excited or a submissive urinator, when you come home, set up that gate outside the door, open the door, and don't go inside. Wait for her to come out. When she goes potty, when she finishes, say good and give her a treat. And we can anticipate she's going to do it. Remember, the cue comes before the action. Say potty or business or whatever it is. She does her business. You say good and give her a treat. And after a while, that becomes the ritual. I come home, I go outside, I pee or I poop. then I go inside and I get all the great love from my mom and dad. And so after a while, that becomes a ritual and that becomes normal. And what we're trying to do is have her not exposed to situations where she loses control of her bladder. And after enough of that has happened, usually about 2 or 3 months, if you can be consistent about it and she hasn't had any accidents for submissive excited urinary issues for about 2 or 3 months, you could be able to put that behind you. Now, you might want to check with your vet. Sometimes if they get UTIs, they have accidents. And I would definitely check with your vet, and I'd look for a doggy chiropractic or a doggy acupuncturist. And have the hips and the pelvis x-rayed, see what's going on there, and then see if there's any exercises they can do to strengthen her back legs. There might be some stuff that we can do that'll help give her more strength and rigidity, might help her feel more comfortable. Also, don't forget to put a couple of floor mats down. I think I've already said that, but just put a couple of those down just to make it easy for her. Now, if you have any questions or concerns or things aren't working, please call and text me. But keep in mind that a lot of times for dogs, when we're modifying behavior, the behavior gets worse before it gets better. So we call that extinction burst. And so it's not unusual. So people are like, it stopped working, David. No, it's working. It's just the dog remembered I liked it this way. I'm going to go back to that way. The dog has to understand that that doesn't work anymore. Well, you guys don't have any other questions? Charlie. Come here, Charlie. Let's get you a little bit in this video. Come here, Charlie. Can you move that camera or hold the, just pick the camera up. And yes, Charlie, Charlie, come here, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Oh, you can just film Charlie from the top, that's fine. This is Charlie, and this is Charlie's roadmap to success.
Charlie.
Yes. She's like, now I'm working on getting a treat. Make a kissing sound. Can you do a long smooch?
No, I don't think so.
All right, now call her again one more time.
Charlie, Charlie, hi.
Well, that's Charlie, and this is Charlie's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only
Charlie.
sometimes you mean it.